Baseball season is upon us, and if you're a sicko like me who woke up at 3 a.m. to watch two teams play that you don't even root for, then you are itching for some baseball to get started, just like me. And I'll be honest with you guys, I've had a little bit of a creative block recently, but seeing the Sky Dome in Korea where that series was played made me appreciate how unconventional it looked, and then got me inspired to make this video. So today I will be telling you what my top 5 best and worst MLB outfields are. And these videos are always off vibes. You know me, I'm Sean's top 5. That's all we do is vibes. But if you really want some real criteria, I broke it down to 3 things. 1, do the dimensions add character or iconic value? 2, are the dimensions annoying? And 3, are home runs satisfying to see hit at this stadium and go past the fence? So with all that out of the way, this is Sean, and these are my top 5 best and worst MLB outfields. Starting us off at number 5, I have Citizens Bank Ballpark, home of the Philadelphia Phillies. And what I love about this outfield is how left, center, and right field, they have their own unique characteristics, their own unique identity. You have an almost straight fence with a little part of it that juts out right and left center, and I've seen so many funky balls hit off that wall, especially the part shading closer to center field. There's been some doubles turned to triples, or even inside the park home runs hit off of that wall, and I think that's a fun quirk. You might call it annoying, but I think it's just small enough where you should know how to play it right if you're a big league ball player, and if you don't play it right, you're gonna pay. Center field, you have a really nice batter eye with some natural shrubbery, and even when that's not grown in, it's a cool looking brick fence mixed with the natural looking plants and trees there. I think it looks really nice. Always fun seeing some balls hit into the bullpen, and then you get to right field. And if you've been a fan long enough, I'm sure you can think of moonshots off the bat going up to the deep second deck, even touching part of the third deck on occasion. I mean, as of right now, I just think of Ryan Howard when I see this part of the stadium because I've seen him hit missiles up into that deck. And yeah, this is just a classic ballpark. 2 thumbs up from me. It's my number 5. My number 4 is Petco Park, home of the San Diego Padres. And this is in the top 5. And this is in the top 5 almost solely for the Western Metal Supply Company in left field. An old building they repurposed to be part of the stadium. It's in fair play territory. If a ball hits it, it's a home run. People can sit there and watch the game. I can't think of anything cooler than that. Maybe the Oakland A's will try something similar with an abandoned hotel in Las Vegas. I don't know. But the Padres perfected it. And I'll never forget watching Pat Burrell hit some bombs off that building in 2010 for the Giants. Center field as well is really nice looking, especially center right field where you can see that area where the fans are sitting and watching on the grassy area. I always thought that was cool. I believe they're going to renovate this part of the stadium for next season, and I can only imagine they're going to make it cooler. And right by the right field foul pole, there's a little bit of funkiness, a little part of the wall that juts out just like at Philadelphia. And I've definitely seen some cheap home runs hit here. And it's really not as annoying as it would be at Yankee Stadium with the entire short porch, but it's just fun enough where it beats out Philadelphia. Petco Park, I love you. You're my number 4. At number 3, I have Minute Maid Park, home of the Houston Astros. And there's a lot to break down here, so let me do it one by one. First of all, I absolutely love the train in left field. You can hit a ball so far, it lands on some train tracks. Are you kidding me? That's awesome. You can hit it over the train tracks if you hit it hard enough. There are already so many iconic playoff moments with these train tracks involved, for and against the Astros. Then, this might get some controversy, but I'm going to put the Crawford boxes in left field as a plus and not an annoying part of the stadium. I know I said the short porch at Yankee Stadium was annoying, but it really does add character to this stadium being right in front of the train tracks. It brings your eye to the area, and there's so many pivotal moments that are happening in this part of the stadium. It's pretty cool to look at. The archways under the train where the people are sitting right on the wall that determines if it's a home run or not is really cool as well. Now let's talk about center field. They have a cool batter's eye, but this stadium would honestly be higher on my list if they still had Tal's Hill, which they took away about 10 years ago or so. Don't know how this was ever approved, having a hill on the field. Not only on the field, but what, a flagpole too? Do you know how many times I see a player running for a ball not looking where they are? What if someone hit this? Maybe that's why they took it away, but I think they could have easily taken the flagpole out and kept the hill. I don't know. Tell me what you think. I will admit, right field doesn't have that much going on here, except a dent mark from Howie Kendrick's ball off the foul pole. But everything else I already talked about makes this a top 3. At number 2 is Oracle Park, home of the San Francisco Giants. This stadium has it all for outfield quirks. In left field, there's a Chevron car logo that has part of the cars actually part of the outfield wall. And if you've never noticed this before, players sure have, because there was even one former Giants player who said he'd cut down the cars if they ever robbed him of a home run. And this next one isn't really a feature for those who aren't Giants fans, but when I look at this corner in left field, I call it the Edgar Renteria corner, because that's all I can think of is his home run in the 2010 World Series. He hit here. That's when I was like, oh my goodness, we might actually win the World Series. Sticking in left field, you have the iconic Coke bottle, the iconic glove in left. Always a fun backdrop when there's a bomb being hit into the left field bleachers. Hitting a ball into the beer garden in center field is a great visual. You have Triples Alley, even though they brought the fences in a bit. This is still Triples Alley. It's such a cool feature of a pitcher's park to have a giant spot like this, meant for balls to roll and roll forever. And the smooth transition of a green fence to the brick wall, chef's kiss. It's so lovely. You have some outfield quirks. The bricks are jutting out. They can hit all sorts of awkward angle off the wall. You have a mini Crawford box-ish section where you can hit some cheap home runs. Not really cheap when it's in Triples Alley, but you know what I mean. And the cream of the crop, the coolest thing in all of baseball, or at least one of the coolest things, you can hit a home run into the water, into the Pacific Ocean, the San Francisco Bay, however you want to call it, McCovey Cove. It is awesome. For a pitcher's park, there are sure some badass places to hit a home run here. I love this place, but it is not number one because that distinction belongs to Fenway Park, home of the Boston Red Sox, and Wrigley Field, home of the Chicago Cubs. And these are number one because they are historic ballparks, which both happen to have iconic outfields. Fenway Park is the true number one among these two, let's be real. Each left field, center field, and right field have their own little quirks here. Right field has the pesky pole, which I talked a lot about in my best MLB Stadiums video. Please check that out if you're liking this one. And like this video and subscribe. That's the best way to show support. That's how YouTube will show my videos to other people. It would mean the world to me. Thank you so much. But back to this corner of the field, I honestly don't see that many balls being hit here where it's super annoying, like people are always hitting it around the pole. It's a fun little thing that happens every so often, which I enjoy. This fence being so low has led to some very iconic moments like Torrey Hunter falling over the fence, home runs being robbed here, balls going off the pole, you name it. We get to center field here, and some balls can take some real awkward hops off of right center field and the center field wall. And it's super satisfying to see a ball hit straightaway center at Fenway. And then we have the Green Monster. I know Cleveland has something similar, but it's nothing like the original. Fenway's Green Monster has seats on it. It has dents on the wall from all the balls that have hit it. It's very awe-inspiring for somebody who's seeing it for the first time. And then you find out that people can hit balls over it, makes moonshots seem like even further balls hit. That is awesome. I love Fenway Park. And Wrigley, on the other hand, I also love. The ivy itself puts Wrigley here at number one. That's what everybody knows it for. It's endured through the years. No other stadium does it. That ivy on the outfield wall is way too iconic not to put. Then you have all the stadium seats that are on top of the rooftops in the distance. It's pretty awesome to see. Center field, they have the old school clock tower, scoreboard, whatever you want to call it. And it just gives this old-timey stadium an old-timey feel while still having all the luxuries of a modern 2024 stadium. So Fenway and Wrigley, you're my number one. Now, transitioning to my top 5 worst outfield list. At number 5, I have All-American Field, the Milwaukee Brewers Stadium. And before you slide sympathizers are in my comments, let me explain. The slide is cool. And that's about it. The thing that puts this on my top 5 is the center field area. I hate this big scoreboard with batter eye under it look. And there's another stadium who does it even worse later on my list. But it is just a big, dark shadow over this stadium. I feel like whenever I watch highlights here, it's like my brightness is turned down. Or at least when balls are hit to center field, I think it's the shadows maybe from the scoreboard, but it just looks so bleak and boring and dull here. There's no part of the stadium besides right next to the slide where it's even satisfying to watch a ball leave the yard. I'm not very inspired by this stadium. Catch me sitting up in the cheap seats with Bob Uecker if I ever see a game here. This is my number 5. At number 4 is my most picked on stadium, Guaranteed Rate Field, home of the Chicago White Sox. The only nice thing I have to say about this one is the batter's eye has some shrubbery on it, but don't they all? They don't, but a lot of them do. Other than that, this is so boring. Pretty much an identical, symmetrical left field and right field. You got the bullpens by the foul pole, you got your row of seats, you got the batter's eye, you got those weird iron bars that are blocking the outside skyline to have an actual nice view. I guess we need giant plaques of these ads. Sorry, I'll try not to get too upset again talking about this one. But come on, what were we doing here? The White Sox new stadium renderings look awesome, and I plan on talking about all the future MLB renderings if you guys would be interested in that in the future. But, oh, it is so sorely needed with this place. Can't remember one home run hit here based on the scenery ever. Hate this place. I'm moving on. At number 3, I have Chase Field, home of the Arizona Diamondbacks, and this is almost a carbon copy of All-American Field for the Brewers. Has that horrible center field batter's eye stack that the Brewers Stadium has, but to make it even worse, they raised the outfield fence for a home run here for some reason. So there are plenty of times where you aren't even seeing where the ball's landing. It just like plops down in front of the fielder and you're like, oh, I guess it was a home run. How satisfying. What a great viewing experience. Not. This place once again feels very dark and enclosed, and I understand you have to keep the Arizona heat out, but could you make left field or right field a little more interesting? It was fun when Justin Upton was hitting balls on the concourse in 2011, but unless you have a big power hitter like that, hitting balls in places they shouldn't be here, it is such a boring viewing experience for left and right field and straight up annoying for center field. This is number 3. At number 2, I have Lone Depot Park, home of the Miami Marlins, and yuck, this place really pisses me off. It feels like anytime a ball is hit out of here or towards the outfield's wall, it rolls forever, or it lands in a section where there's no fans. There is nothing happening in the outfield of this stadium to get you excited. Home run sculpture, gone. And besides that, there really is nothing. It'd be cool if these windows were open more than like 8 games a year, but they're not, so they're usually closed, nothing cool there. The one thing I really hate the most is in right field, this just like random pole they have next to the right field foul pole. Oh wow, so cool guys, so exciting. Like this is definitely intentional. But why? Just adds to the loneliness of the stadium when I see a ball hit in this little corner where no one's sitting. Oh, wow, it hit the big beam. Very cool. Is this a warehouse or a baseball stadium? On a more encouraging note, they're actually going to allow fans to bring instruments into the ballpark, giving it more of a Latin America feel, which I think is really needed for this place. Give it some sort of feeling besides depressing. Jesus Christ. But until they add something, this is an all-time worst. It's at number 2. At number 1, I have Comerica Park, home of the Detroit Tigers. And there's honestly nothing happening here. Left field, boring left field seats. Center field, batter eye with some nature. Right field, boring right field seats. Nowhere fun to hit the ball, nowhere exciting to look. And what really puts this at number 1 for me is last year they did outfield wall renovations and they just put the new walls in front of the old ones and left them there. What? I mean, yeah, I understand that you really don't care how this place looks, but could you at least pretend? There's really nothing else for me to say about this. It's horrible, and I look forward to watching no home runs get hit here this season, because the Tigers suck. And that's my list, everyone. Please let me know what you think down in the comments below. I'm excited to be back making baseball videos. I have some exciting ones coming down the line for opening month. I cannot wait to see you there. This was Sean, and that was my top 5.